Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Today, many of us are also standing in our own battlefields. Not with weapons, but with stress, confusion, fear, relationships, and purpose in life. The Gita is not a book of religion alone. It is a manual for life. It teaches us how to make decisions when we are confused, how to stay calm in difficult situations, how to perform our duties without fear, and most importantly, how to understand who we truly are. Let's start from what is science of the soul.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're looking at something absolutely fascinating. We're going way past the basic literal translations of ancient scriptures to uncover the intense, unseen psychological warfare happening just moments before the mythical Kurukshetra war begins. You know, when we read ancient texts, it is so incredibly easy to just picture the swords, the shields, the marching armies, the whole shebang. But today, we're actually going to look at the minds of the commanders. We're going to see the anxiety, the guilt, and the hidden agendas that are really pulling the strings behind the scenes. We drop right into the action with this booming command echoing across the battlefield. The order goes, all of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points. Now, on the surface, that sounds like a perfectly standard, powerful directive from a confident leader, in this case, Commander Duryodhana. But as we're about to discover, these confident words are literally dripping with hidden anxiety. To set the scene for this, the armies are locked in a massive phalanx. Think of it like a giant, heavily armored puzzle, a huge, strategically arranged tactical formation designed to be completely impenetrable. Commander Duryodhana is rushing around this formation, making absolutely sure every single strategic point of entrance is heavily guarded by his men. The tension is palpable. The physical stakes, they honestly could not be higher. But here's the thing, the real story isn't the physical army at all. To understand the iceberg beneath the surface of this battlefield, we have to look at what's called the purport. The purport is the deep, hidden meaning, the psychological subtext, or the unspoken intention behind an action or a statement. We can't just read the surface command, right? We have to read the room. We have to look at the purport of Duryodhana's commands to his generals to see what's really going on. Outwardly, Duryodhana's surface command is praising his greatest warrior, Bhishma, telling everyone to support him. But inwardly, his hidden reality is pure, desperate diplomatic damage control. Duryodhana is realizing that by overpraising Bhishma, his other generals might start to feel considered less important. So in his typical diplomatic way, he's scrambling to use political spin to soothe their egos, just so they don't feel slighted and abandon their crucial posts. When you look at Duryodhana's internal checklist of anxiety, it reveals just how terrified the man really is. He's worried others might feel less important. He knows Bhishmadeva is undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he also knows the guy is old. He's terrified that if Bhishma gets fully engaged in fighting on one side, the enemy might take advantage of that blind spot. So he needs all the other heroes to stay exactly where they are to protect Bhishma from all sides and prevent the enemy from breaking the phalanx. Duryodhana clearly feels that his entire victory depends completely on the presence of this one aging general. Which brings us to a massive psychological puzzle. If Duryodhana is this anxious, and he knows he's relying on diplomatic spin just to keep his army together, why is he so confident that his greatest generals, specifically Bhishma and Drona, will actually fight for him? What is keeping them glued to his side in this massive phalanx? Well, his confidence stems from a haunting past trauma. It all goes back to a notorious gambling match. During this event, the opposing side's wife, Draupadi, was put in a deeply helpless condition. She was forced to appear naked in the assembly of all these great generals, and she desperately appealed to them for justice. And what did Bhishma and Drona do? They met her appeals with deafening silence. They didn't speak a single word. This highlights Duryodhana's dark, psychological leverage. He is well aware that these two great generals have a genuine affection for the opposing side, the Pandavas. But he is banking on the terrible hope that their past silence and inaction during that horrific gambling match has permanently trapped them. He's completely confident they'll bury that past affection and support him now, simply because they are bound by the guilt and complicity of their own silence. So picture the scene right now. The armies are set. The guilt is weaponized. Duryodhana's internal panic and desperate diplomacy are reaching an absolute boiling point. And right at that peak, the elderly statesman Bhishma shatters the tension. As the text describes, he blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. The great, valiant grandsire steps up and literally vibrates the battlefield. But let's remember our key concept today: purport. When we map the literal actions against their true inner meanings, a really fascinating dynamic emerges. Duryodhana's literal action is giving strategic orders, but his inner meaning is hiding deep insecurity and relying on past guilt. Meanwhile, Bhishma's literal action is blowing a conch shell loudly, but his inner meaning? Bhishma actually understands the inner meaning of his grandson Duryodhana's heart. He sees right through the diplomatic spin to the depressed, terrified leader underneath. Bhishma isn't just making noise here. He's showing natural compassion to try and cheer up his grandson. Duryodhana hears this roaring conch shell befitting a lion, and it brings him joy. He naturally interprets it as a battle cry promising absolute triumph. But is it? Does this compassionate gesture actually mean they are going to win the war? This brings us to a moment of incredible dramatic irony. The literal sound of the conch shell is cheering Duryodhana up with a valiant roar, but the purport, the symbolic message that Bhishma is sending indirectly, is the exact opposite. Through the symbolism of the conch shell, Bhishma is indirectly informing his depressed grandson that there is absolutely zero chance of victory. The war has already lost before a single arrow is even fired. Why? Because defeat is guaranteed. The Supreme Lord Krishna is on the other side. Bhishma knows that all of Duryodhana's strategic phalanxes, all his diplomatic spin, and all his psychological leverage mean absolutely nothing. The opposing army has the Supreme Lord with them, and therefore the forces on this side are entirely 100% doomed. And this brings us to the profound climax of this ancient standoff. It's a question that forces us to basically reevaluate the entire concept of warfare and action. If you know with absolute certainty that you have no chance of victory, why blow the conch shell? Why cheer your commander, arrange your phalanx, and march into a brutal battle if you already know defeat is absolutely inevitable? Well, the crucial point is this: duty. Bhishma knows the outcome is doomed, but still, it is his duty to conduct the fight. The text tells us that no pains would be spared in that connection. He's going to fight with everything he has, utilizing all his prowess as the greatest hero, simply because it is his required role. His action is completely detached from the final outcome. He isn't fighting for the prize of victory, he's fighting because it is his duty to be on that battlefield. As we leave this ancient battlefield and step back into our own modern lives, this deep psychological narrative leaves us with a truly provocative question. When you face your own challenges, your own personal battles, are you only acting when you know you're going to win? Are you driven by the guarantee of victory? Or, like the grandsire on the battlefield, are you driven by an unwavering commitment to your duty, completely regardless of the outcome? It's definitely something to think about the next time you hear the conch shell blow in your own life. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you next time.
Rama Rama